All right, ladies. So let's talk about what nobody told you growing up about male psychology. This video is more so to break some myths, to break some assumptions up, and to bring you more in line with reality about how men really are, how they really feel, how they see the world. A lot of the times, women see men from their points of view, from their traumas, from them getting played, from only seeing the negative sides of men. Maybe they have some bad examples in their lives. Maybe they've had some bad luck with dating some guys. And so you develop a general overview of how men are that's based on a narrow point of view that comes from an emotional reaction. You have to understand emotions narrow the scope of your vision. It causes a narrowing, almost like adrenaline. How adrenaline narrows your literal vision down to a 30% peripheral vision. So whenever you've been hurt, whenever you are consistently having an emotional reaction to a certain thing, it naturally creates biases. And those biases creates illusions, creates misunderstandings, creates problems that we tend to create, but it creates the illusion that it was created because of them. So understanding how men are can potentially liberate you from your own biases that you have developed because of dealing with bad men in your life. And look, this happened to me too. Right, I like to think when I was younger, I had sexist views about women. And the reason why is because I was hurt. I got played. I never had success with women. And people might say, oh, is that an excuse to think to do that? No, I never did nothing wrong. I just had a view of women that was completely misaligned with reality. And it did affect my relationships. I saw hostility where there wasn't hostility. I remember having visions of women just saying, I'm gonna play him. When in reality, that was just my own insecurities. And most likely you're doing something similar to that. And so I want to give you guys a different point of view of how men are so that maybe you guys can have a different approach to men in a way that you have more like a positive expectation. All right, because your expectations about people does affect the way they behave with you. That's just how that works. If you expect negativity from men, you're gonna get it. If you expect positivity, you have a higher likelihood of getting that from guys. All right, so let's begin with this video. And before we begin, don't forget we are selling all of our courses in a bundle. It's called I'm gonna start calling it the Mindful Attraction University. So that means you guys can purchase all of the courses: the psychological game of attraction, natural chemistry, emotional mastery. You can get them, all of them, at a discounted rate, right? Look at all of these reviews. These are all the reviews I get from these courses. That's psychological game of attractions for women who are in a relationship. This is for women who, no, for women who are single. This is for women who are in a relationship and who want to improve their relationship with their man. You get all of this, and look at all of these reviews, right? Nice Girl is for women who are in who need to develop more assertiveness training. Look at all of these reviews from Nice Girl. And then we're also putting in that bundle my course Emotional Mastery, right? You could check it out over here. And that includes it doesn't include all of the bonuses. That's actually another bundle you could purchase, but it includes Emotional Mastery, and it includes the Charisma Blueprint, right? In this course, it's all about how to develop charisma. You guys can purchase all of this for a discounted rate. If you add it up, if you buy them individually, it'll come down to almost $600. But with this discounted rate, it comes down to $399, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that's right, $399. Right, all of this is sold for $399, right? Or you guys can check out the bundle deal where you guys all of the courses along with the bundle for $664. Now, if you purchase all of my courses individually with the bundles, it goes up to almost $1,000, ladies and gentlemen, right? All right. I'm gonna make this this bundle available this week only, because it's including my new course. So I'm like, you know what? I'm only gonna include this week, so you guys can click on the description down below to purchase it. And if you guys don't like it, you could just ask for a refund. But the refund policy is 14 days refund policy, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So if you guys enjoyed this, click on the description down below and purchase it right now. See you guys inside. Women control how men express masculinity. Let me tell you something. whatever you see out there of how men are in terms of masculine, it's because that's what men observed, that what women want. Men are consistently going like this, going with the wind, with the feminine wind, and seeing where women are attracted. If men notice that, I remember in Dave Chappelle, there was a clip in where Charlie Murphy was talking about how Prince in his heyday was feminine looking, and he said, "Man, all of those guys." You see the clip.
What was wild was that the guy who looked the most like a bitch was getting all the women. Even I had the Jerry curl was coming out, and I had my slick to the side and all that.
But that's what he said, right? And there's actually a certain truth to it. If women show a preference for feminine men, that's what guys are gonna start doing, acting feminine. If women show a preference for masculine men to the point of caricature, that's what guys are gonna be doing. Whatever you see, the type of masculinity that exists today, it happened simply because that's what women selected. It's as simple as that. That's what women selected. You have to understand. For example, I'm in Mexico now, right? And it's a more dangerous country. So what do you think that causes women to feel more? They feel more in danger. Women here feel like they need to be protected more. So what do you think women will then become attracted to? Men who are stronger, more masculine men. Now, what's the masculinity that pervades like Spanish cultures? Super strong, masculine, machista type of stuff. Now, what type of environment are women in? In a dangerous place. So what do you think women will pick? Women are gonna pick the ones that look the more masculine. I'd rather marry the dangerous guy than the one who's not dangerous, because at least he'll protect me from the outside danger, right? Now in the United States, it's more of a affluent culture, so there is no danger. So women feel relaxed, and so now what do you think that does? It affects how she picks the men. So now she's not attracted to men who are super masculine. Now she's more of attracted to a guy who could just chill out in a time of peace, who are more feminine, who are more expressive, who are more artistic, who are more in touch with their feminine emotion. Now put that same woman in the middle of the Serengeti where she's in trouble and where she can get mugged and hurt by other men. All of a sudden she's gonna stop trying to go out with Jake the shaman, with Jake the hipster, and now she's gonna want to go out with Tyrone the personal defender. Ladies and gentlemen, it's all based on the environment. The masculinity that you see today is a reaction of women to their environment, and then it causes them to then pick a guy based on what will benefit her in that environment. Most guys are generally raised by women. Women are teaching guys what is masculine, like like especially in my community, right, where it's mostly single women. It's the women that are teaching the guys how to be masculine. And so the masculinity that you see, it's almost all the time dictated by women. That's just how it is. If you want men to be more masculine, just start selecting men who are masculine, who have more of a stereotypical 60s type of masculinity. But if you want the culture to change to be more feminine like it is today, that's what you notice. Women are picking guys who you think he's gay and he got like 2 girls. Because that's what women are selected. So that's one thing, right? Another way to change masculinity, how men express masculinity, is to change the environment. Like I said, put women in a make the same place become more dangerous and more impoverished and more hood and more crime. All of a sudden, the women will start selecting guys who are more dangerous, who are more masculine, who are more criminals, who are more machista. Put the same women. Change the environment, make it more safe, make it more rich, put more Starbucks, put more kombucha bars around it. And all of a sudden you'll notice that the woman's preferences, because she feels safe now, will be more towards the artistic kind, the happy kind, the Jake the Shamus type, the Bob the hipster type, right? Socioeconomic and crime rate out of and fatherlessness affects the masculine expression, because it affects how those things affect women, how safe a woman feels, and that will affect how with the types of men that a woman will be attracted. A man's masculinity doesn't come because he wants to be masculine. That masculinity comes because he has observed that's what women want.
The phenomenon you're describing is rooted in evolutionary psychology and socialization. From an evolutionary perspective, men and women have historically adapted their behaviors to maximize their chances of reproductive success. Sexual selection theory. This theory, proposed by Charles Darwin, suggests that individuals adopt certain behaviors or traits to attract a mate. If women show a preference for less masculine men, then men may adapt more feminine roles to increase their attractiveness to potential partners. Social role theory. This theory posits that gender roles arise from the division of labor between sexes in a society. If societal norms shift and women no longer prefer traditionally masculine men, men may adjust their behaviors to align with these new expectations. Influence of media and society. Men and women are influenced by societal norms and media portrayals of masculinity and femininity. If popular culture starts valuing less traditional forms of masculinity, men may begin to adopt these traits to be seen as more desirable. Interpersonal attraction theory. This theory suggests that we are attracted to people who possess certain qualities, and we may alter our behavior to embody those qualities if we believe it will make us more attractive. If women express a preference for less traditionally masculine traits, men may exhibit more of these traits in an attempt to attract partners. These theories suggest that men might observe what women want and adapt their behaviors accordingly to increase their chances of attracting a partner. However, it's important to note that not all men will adapt or change their behaviors, and individual preferences can vary widely.
The next thing, men deal with emotions differently. They don't want to feel loved, right? That's usually what women would want, right? What men want is to feel respected, right? Men want to feel respected, and they want to feel capable. So in therapy for a man, going to therapy for men doesn't have the same effect as it has for women. Men, the way men process emotions is not through words, right? A man processes his emotions through a physical action. Punching a wall a negative way, right? Playing sports, right? So a man, the feeling that men want to feel the most is just respect. So what they do, what a man should do to feel respect and capable is, one, stop asking guys to go to therapy, people. All right, that's something that goes more with female nature. Women like to talk about their feelings. And it's to the point that women, with the way that they fall in love is not through action. It is through actions, but through words, right? So women like to talk and women like to hear words, right? Men are more about actions. That's what men are. Men are more about actions. So rather than telling them to speak about how you feel, tell them to go lift weights. Tell them to get into a sport, get a hobby, get competitive. Tell them to win a competition. Tell them to join a race. Tell them to join a sports league. Tell them to join a lifting competition. I don't know. The point is that when you put a man in a competitive state, they'll begin to feel better about themselves.
So I had a psychotherapist called Adam Lane Smith on my podcast, and he said that male depression gets treated like female depression. Men are made to feel loved and accepted when all they want to do is feel capable and powerful. He used this example of the Blitz in World War II. Before the war started, there were these psychiatric wards, and they had patients. And these patients had been totally comatose, unresponsive. Then the Blitz starts. So there were fires, and there were injuries all over London, and there were ambulances and fire engines, and there was no one to drive them. These men got up and started driving fire engines and ambulances. These men that had been unresponsive for years and years and years. Give a man a purpose and the ability to achieve it, and he will crawl over broken glass with a smile.
They'll begin to feel more masculine, more competent. And when you praise them for competing, their self-esteem goes up. So that's one thing. right? Give a man a purpose, a challenge. Maybe you're the challenge. Maybe you're making things too easy for him. Challenge him a little bit. Men are competitive creatures. You have to take advantage of that. Men prefer an average body rather than being too obese or too skinny. Right? A man prefers an average figure. Don't get too fat and don't get too skinny. Men who are dopamine driven tend to be more cheaters. If you notice a guy who consistently loves to travel, consistently loves to do a lot of drugs, can't stay in one place, right? Doesn't know how to control their emotions. A lot of those guys are cheaters. Or even worse, well, I say even worse, men who have a lot of power tend to cheat as well. High-powered men. That doesn't mean that guys who have low power tend to not cheat, because unlimited power corrupts, but also powerlessness also corrupts as well. So what I'm trying to tell you is, look at a man's resume. Look at his history. Judge his character. Look at what are some qualities of him. Does he have an addictive personality? Does he lack a meditation practice? Do you notice there's no consistency in his life? He keeps moving from job to job, place to place, girl to girl. What makes you think he's going to stop that with you? I could promise you that guy tried to stop his behavior. I could promise you that guy tried to change. He just can't. Sometimes what you see is what you get, especially with guys. It's very hard to change a guy. It really is. I don't think guys change their minds as much as women. I don't know. I could be wrong, right? But when a guy is straight, he's pretty straight throughout his whole life. Guys don't have a gay phase. The fuck? No, hell no, right? Guys don't just kiss a guy when he's drunk like women do. We don't do that shit, man. We're like trees that don't move. We're stiff. We're not Ditto, the Pokemon, like women. They could be got by 1 year and the next year be straight as hell. Men without hobbies, friends, men who have no life, a lot of the times they tend to be controlling. Because the only thing that they sometimes when a man has no control over his or her life, or maybe he's trans, I don't fucking know, man. When a man has no control over his life, no hobbies, no consistency, because usually hobbies bring emotional consistency. Having no hobbies leads to lack of emotional control. When a man has no control over his or her his emotions, he's gonna try to control your ass. It's just that simple. Be controlling. And it ends up being toxic. Men with high education levels don't care about dating women who are under them educationally. Women, on the other hand, when their education level rises, when their income rises, it's not that they prefer men who have high incomes or equal to higher income. It's literally that women are not attracted at a biological level to men who are lower than them. It's not like it's a preference. It's literally, I don't find you attractive. You suck your own dick. I don't find you attractive. Like literally like that. Guys, we don't give a fuck. We could be the smartest person on earth and date the dumbest person on the planet. All right? If we are attracted to each other, we'll find some things in common. Now, people might say, oh, but I need, why isn't that horrible? Why would a man date a woman who is vulnerable, who is under them? What do they have in common? Let me tell you something, man. If you worked at a workplace, you'll notice that you make friends with people who are 60 years old, if you're 20, and you notice you tend to have a lot of things in common with people of different backgrounds, of different cultures, of different ages. Unless they're fucking too young, people, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go to jail. Don't go to jail, people. But everyone can find something in common, right? Like you can hang out. You could be you could be in prison with fucking Hitler, God forbid. I can promise you're gonna find some things in common. He likes dogs. If you like dogs, you're gonna talk to little Adolf about dogs. If you like drawing, Adolf could talk about art too. right? Can you imagine having a conversation with him? So, Adolf, what's your favorite artist? I like Leonardo da Vinci. Are you serious, Adolf? Yes. That's my favorite artist too. Oh, is that true? He's my favorite. What else do you like? I like dogs. Oh, I love dogs too. What the fuck is going on here? How am I relating to Adolf? All right, that's enough, man. Right? Another thing is that men are distracted by movement a lot more than women. Men are more easily distracted than women are. What women have to understand is that our eyes are literally it's almost like there's another person like watching out for hot girls, hot women, or like it's crazy. Like yesterday, I was reading a book, and I swear to God, there was a girl walking in this direction, and my eyes unconsciously noticed her. Unbelievable. I was like, what the fuck? How did I know that girl had a dunk in the trunk? And how did I know to look exactly in that direction? Do you know when somebody's looking at you and you can sense it and you kind of intuitively know exactly what to look at? It's almost the same as a guy. It's almost like we intuitively are programmed to observe movement. Now, we're not just looking for movement, of cake movement. Nah, we're not just looking at that, but generally boys who are raised by their mothers. A lot of moms will say that boys don't make as much eye contact as girls do. A boy would rather look at a moving object behind his or her mom, what the fuck? Behind his mom, and pay attention to the moving object a lot more than making eye contact to the mom. To the point where some moms will even think that their boys have autism because or there's something wrong with their boy because they're just not making eye contact. So what I'm trying to say is that whenever you notice a guy looking at another girl and they just keep looking and you think it's creepy, understand that they can't help it. It's literally like a machine. It's a machine. Like it's like getting mad at a scorpion for breathing. It's if you tell 1,000 guys, if walk down the street and if you look at a woman's cleavage, we're gonna shoot you in the head. You're gonna see a massacre, because all of those guys are gonna die. No guy. We have no conscious control over where our eyes go a lot of the times, right? That's why a woman will read a book and she'll be reading that book in the park and be more focused, as opposed to a guy who will reading a book more like this, but his eyes will be looking around. Guys are just more visual creatures, Just like you can make a woman fall in love by giving her promises, telling her what she wants to hear, you can literally change a man's focus and values by what you present to him visually. In the last year, 28% of men have not had sex in the last year. And that has been doubling over the past few years. What does that say? Is that is problematic for society. There's more single men now than before. And this is why my job is so important, people. A lot of people might think what I do is silly, but I'm helping humanity. It's important that men get poom poom. Not just poom poom, but get in a relationship. The reason why is because when you have a society of men who are not getting sex, people, that is dangerous. That's dangerous for you, and that's dangerous for me, because it leads to higher crime rate. It leads to higher crime rate. It's more problematic for society. The most dangerous societies are the ones where guys are not getting poom poom, people. Because when I got mugged in Mexico, I could promise you the two guys who mugged me were not two dads. They weren't two grandpas. Most likely, they were two young single guys, right? Like, Guys in marriages and who have committed relationships have too much to lose to commit those dumbass crime by baiting me by saying that you're a girl, and then in reality you're two dudes trying to mug me, right? But when a guy is single, they take more risk. When you have a group of men who take high risk, what the hell do you think is gonna happen? Anyway, so these are the things about men that most likely you didn't know about, nobody told you about, and things about men that I find kind of interesting. Actually, there's another thing that I want to tell you guys. When you leave a guy and you're not around him, a guy's body will create more sperm so that the next time he sees you, he could shoot up the club, just in case you cheated on him when you were away, when he was away. That's a evolutionary way that the male body has created, like a strategy to prevent paternity uncertainty. In other words, if I'm away and you cheat, my only way to make sure that the kids that you have are mine is the next time I see you, shoot up the club with as much as I can, and with the suction cup, because the penis is shaped in a way that when it pulls out, it could pull out any sperm that's inside. It could pull it out like a suction cup. And so it'll pull it out, and then it'll just shoot up the club like there's no tomorrow, like it's a fucking like it's a Taliban. It'll just shoot it up, right? And that's an evolutionary way to increase the likelihood that the kid is his. And that only happens when you're away, right? So what that says is that absence makes a guy hornier, right? Too much presence removes the fear of losing you, and as a result, his body doesn't create as much sperm. It's kind of interesting. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this type of video, fact videos about facts, let me know. Click in the description down below. Click in the comment section. Let me know if you want me to make more of these videos. If you guys want to work with me one-on-one, go to mindfulattraction.org. I have a lot more time left. I am now doing this full-time. If you guys ever want to check out any of my courses, to become a Patreon supporter, to join the Robert Greene Book Club, click on the description down below, and I'll see you guys next time.